Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Although I'm far away from where we're holding our conference, I'm glad to be able for a few minutes at least to join you on the basis of the request of my dear friend Dr. Nasr Ahmad. Apparently you're having a conference on Sunnism and Shiism, and I can hardly overemphasize the importance of this issue for not only all Muslims, but in fact for the globe at large. Let me add, first of all, this point, because it's been misconstrued and through propaganda so often emphasized falsely. It's not true that Sunnis and Shiites have always been fighting against each other for 1400 years of Islamic history. Yes, there have been periods of strife. There have also been long periods of peace. Furthermore, there's no religion which has only one interpretation. The mercy of God and the fact that He created human beings differently required that. He could have created all human beings alike and also revealed only one religion. But the richness of divine nature, He whose name is Al-Ghani, the rich, was such that it precluded this possibility. And so God created different peoples with different tongues, different capabilities, to whom He revealed different religions, and within each religion He made possible different interpretations. This is true as Islam, which is based on Tawheed and divine unity, as it is of other religions. The great religions of the world, like Buddhism, has the Mahayana, the Theravada, the Vajrayana schools. Christianity has Catholicism, Protestantism in the West, Orthodoxy in the East, and so forth and so on. I could give other examples. Islam also developed from the very beginning the two schools of Sunnism and Shiism. And of course, as all of you know, I do not have to repeat, outwardly it was based on the question of who would succeed the Prophet, more inwardly what the function of that person should be, as to the question of the imamate and the caliphate, and all of those began to be debated. And after the Battle of Siffin and the rebellion of Muawiyah against Ali, there was a political division also within the Islamic world, and led to many later problems which I will not deal with here. The only thing I want to say is that Sunnism and Shiism were there from the beginning of Islam. The Prophet even referred to some of the close companions of Ali, such as Salman al-Farsi, and as Shi'at Ali, the Shia of Ali. The expression was even used by him as far as the Hadith literature reveals. In any case, gradually after the death of Sayyidina Hussein, 60 years after the Prophet, as you know, the whole political situation changed between Iraq and Syria, and led to the downfall of the Umayyads and the rise of the Abbasids. And Shiism, although played a very important role in this transformation, of course did not come to power. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq refused to take the political leadership into his hand. He was then the sixth Shiite Imam and alive at the end of the Umayyad period. But history went on, and Shiism remained a minority religion numerically. It spread mostly in the main heartland of the Islamic world. Its branch, Ismailism, also spread into Egypt, of course, with the Fatimids. But the main home of Shiism remained the central lands of the Islamic world, from Lahore, I would say, to Cairo. It was only in the 10th century, the 10th Islamic century, that a major Shiite state was created in the Islamic world, Iran, which is still today the most important Shiite state in the Islamic world. And unfortunately, battles ensued with the Ottomans, but at the same time, great cultural achievements were made, and gradually things settled down. Even when the Ottomans and the Safavids were fighting against each other on the field, a lot of intellectual and religious texts were exchanged. There was a lot of coming and going, and also with the third major empire, Islamic empire, the Mughal of northern India, which Persia had the closest rapport with. Anyway, I say all of this because it's a background of what is happening now. Unfortunately, after the rise of the Iranian Revolution, before that, the relation with Saudi Arabia and Iran was very good. After that, the Saudis decided to publish a large number of tracts in Arabic against Shiism. And they paid various authors to do it. And then they became very saddened that they had done this, that they had a mistake. They even consulted with me over this matter. And that led to the conference held in Cairo in the early 80s of Taqrib, closeness between Sunnism and Shiism. And things were a bit better for a few years. But this was too good to miss by those who wanted to follow the philosophy of divide and conquer. Unfortunately, became a favorite tool of Western influence in the Middle East, especially American and British, and the fire of Sunni-Shii differences was fanned very quickly. I remember that in 1964, when I was the Akhan Professor of Islamic Studies at the American University of Beirut, I spent the whole year in Lebanon and traveled to Syria very often. I was amazed. There were thousands of families, among whom the husband was Sunni, the wife was Shiite, the husband was Shiite, the wife was Sunni. The same is true in Pakistan and India, in which I traveled also very often. Nobody even thought about it. This enmity is really very, very recent, and we must do everything possible to overcome this enmity and stop having various local political powers making use of it for their own political ends, especially if they themselves are not orthodox. Sunnism and Shiism are both orthodox branches of Islam. Orthodox in the deepest sense of Sirat al-Mustaqim, of following the right path. The Latin orthodoxa means correct doctrines, correct path, straight doctrine. In any case, they're both part and parcel of the Islamic intellectual universe, civilization, art, everything that created civilization together. And to be at loggerheads with each other will do nothing more than weaken, in fact, the Islamic world at a time when the Islamic world needs to strengthen itself, and rather than wasting its energies in internal friction between Sunnis and Shiites, try to unify and face all the challenges of modernism, from secularism coming from the West to the destruction of the environment together. I hope and pray that more and more programs will be created for even learned younger Sunni scholars to know more about Shiism, and younger Shiite scholars to know more about Sunnism, and not to be fooled by the revival of or the creation of very tightly defined and externally bound definitions of Islam, which are not even orthodox and which evade the grandeur of the unity of Islam, which exists and comes from the religion, from the Prophet and the Quran, and which has manifested itself over the centuries in Islamic history. Without a wedding and friendship between Sunnism and Shiism, Islam cannot regain its grandeur and its unity and be able to stand on its feet. So I pray that inshallah your conference will be having a great deal of success in creating greater mutual understanding between these two aspects of the Islamic tradition. Alhamdulillah wahdahu.